All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Discover Dowsing sponsored by the American Society of Dowsers. Today is February 18th, 2020, and I'm Roxanne Louise, both the host as well as the speaker tonight. We were to have another speaker, but the other person had some issues that needed attention, and I'll have him back another time. All right, so I'll start off with some announcements and then we'll get into the program. So every month we have 3 teleconferences. We have, on the second Tuesday, we have Dowsing Support, which I run. And on the third Monday, Sherry Hope has her water dowsing program. And on the third Tuesday, I lead Discover Dowsing, where normally speaking, I interview a prominent dowser. But as I said, I'm filling in for someone who came up with a conflict, so you're getting me. Anyway, we have also our convention this year is at Plymouth State Hospital, Plymouth State University in Plymouth, New Hampshire, and it is June 3rd through 7th. We also are having a regional conference, a West Coast Dowsing Conference on July 4th weekend. You'll probably hear more about that as time goes on. We have a newsletter that can be emailed to everyone, whether you're a member or not, so you find out what the various events are. But I strongly advise you, if you like the teleconference, to join ASD. It's only $65, which is, for that, you get tremendous benefits, such as being able to go into the archives and listen to at least 3 years of these teleconference calls, plus maybe up to 60 years of the digest, which is full of wonderful articles on dowsing. You also get discounts at the conference, at regional conference, and you get a discount in the bookstore. So a lot of great benefits to becoming a member. Our website, just for your information, is dowsers.org. So tonight, the topic is the infinite intelligence process. And this was a program that I put together 5 years ago. Dowsing has a number of programs. So creating a dowsing program for stress management, for example, is nothing new. But I was inspired to write one for stress because I didn't know of any that had been written for stress before. And then I also came across another program that could well be adapted to dowsing as well. And so I put together a number of things that I have either been practicing in hypnosis for 30 years, dowsing for 29 years, and many other modalities that I do, including emotion code or emotional freedom technique or tappist acupressure technique, many, many modalities. So the overall premise of what we are going to be doing is that there's more to you than you think you are consciously aware of, that you have the ability to tap into more. And by having an open-minded attitude that this is true and it's your intention to do this, you are able to harness much greater resources, wisdom, and ability that go beyond your conscious mind, beyond your ego, even beyond the subconscious to the spiritual dimension of the self that is further linked to a greater consciousness. Now, all of dowsing is predicated on this assumption that you are able to tap into something more to get information. So again, this is nothing new, but we're going to now adapt it to specific things for everyday life, for stress management, for example. We're going to create a dowsing. I created a dowsing program, which before the hour is over, we are going to download and then practice some, going through some of it. So the work that is part of this program is done below the level of consciousness. So you simply go within, affirm your intention, and allow that something to do its work. This is wonderful because it circumvents the ego, mind game, circuitous thinking, internal and external blocks, and inhibiting energies that have prevented a previous solution to the issue of concern. It works really fast to solve practical problems, relieve stress, and to heal from long-standing issues, even those that have defied resolution in the past. Everything in your life can be addressed, whether it's mental, emotional, financial, business, spiritual, relationship, everything. This process can be used anytime, any place as a self-help tool by the ordinary person, but it can also be used for meditation, constructive self-programming, and used in conjunction with many other modalities. Professionals can also incorporate it, all those such as hypnotherapists, dowsers, teachers, counselors, life coaches, energy healers, mental health practitioners, can employ it as a full-fledged therapy, and I have. It draws upon the principles of hypnosis, neurolinguistic programming, dowsing, meditation, prayer, and many healing energy methods. So what exactly is this more? My book that incorporates this whole program is called Accessing More, tapping into the wisdom and tapping into the internal unlimited self with the infinite intelligence process. So what is more? Well, it includes your subconscious mind that regulates all your body functions, your automatic behavior, your physical, mental, and emotional habits, directives, and injunctions. It includes your beliefs and judgments and memory, but goes beyond it. It's primarily, in my opinion, the eternal, infinite intelligence that already is within you. That's intrinsically linked to the ultimate consciousness behind all that is, whatever you call that. So hence, using this system increases your awareness that you are more than your ego, more than your body and local mind, more than an individual spiritual self that people call the soul, to something even beyond. So in traditional circles, you might put a name on as God, but I don't think you have to put a religious connotation. It's a greater intelligence accessible from within, precisely because it's an intrinsic part of you. So labeling it is not important to gain the benefits. In fact, it can get you stuck and mired in an argument over it. But having an attitude that you want to solve a problem, and that there is something you can tap into for guidance and direction and assistance, and it can work below the level of your conscious awareness, is really helpful. I'm going to suggest you adopt a what-if attitude. What if I did have the resources to solve my particular problem, or a problem you concerns you? What if I already have the resources to handle it? What if I could achieve my goal? What if I can take action right now to go after what I want, or to resolve an issue, condition, relationship, or upset? So that open-minded question, well, what if? And yet you also want to have a skeptical attitude as well, neither too Pollyanna nor too rigid in your thinking. As Tom Campbell says, what we think is reality is only a model. It's only a model. And so now I keep hearing from scientists and physicists that model is changing, and it's changing very rapidly. So you can use this process that I'm going to go through with you tonight as a self-help tool or a professional therapeutic tool. You can use it for meditation, constructive self-programming. You can use it for manifesting and goal achievement. You can use it for stress management and better sleep, emotional healing, ego strengthening, physical healing, and spiritual healing. So it's very, very versatile. Okay, so I mentioned that this is part of unconscious healing. So what is that? Well, your unconscious mind already has incredible intelligence that does a multiple amount of things without your conscious interference. For example, it regulates your heartbeat, your digestion. It regulates your breathing. It digests your food. It heals from cuts and bruises, grows hair and fingernails, and it does it all when you're awake or asleep without you knowing how you do that very well. Well, that's what this is going to do. It's going to work below the level of your conscious awareness. All you need to do is create a very focused intention of what it is you want to happen. Of course, that sounds like dowsing, doesn't it? Have a clear, focused intention of what you want to accomplish. Okay, so this program is primarily two aspects, but with another two minor aspects. I call the first part of it connect, the second part process, the third command and reset, and finally give thanks. So those are the four different parts, of which connect and process are the most important. The two, they each have their own wording. The connect program starts with, there's a part of me that knows, and that part is, and you finish the word sentence. So there's a part of me that knows everything to do with the problem or issue that I want to solve today, and that part is reviewing it now to resolve it in a way in which I'm really pleased. For example, that's one way of wording it. Or there's a part of me that knows everything to do about my goal of, and that part is evaluating the best way to achieve it now with ease, efficiency, and joy. So there's many, many ways of wording it, and that's why I have a whole book on it, because it's so incredibly versatile. Now, back, as I mentioned, I've been doing hypnosis for 30 years. One of my mentors was A.L. Ward from San Bernardino, California. Another one was Art Winkler from Louisiana. But in addition to many others. So I had a hypnotic pattern I would do with every single, I'm looking for my pattern right now, excuse me, as I'm flipping through my book. I would do that with all of my clients once I induced hypnosis, so that their unconscious mind would start to resolve issues before I even got into any intervention. So this was the hypnotic pattern I've been doing for a minimum of 28 or 29 years. Here it goes. There's a part of you that's very wise and resourceful and knows everything about you and why you are the way you are and what to do about it. And that part is now reviewing everything to do with that problem you came here to solve today of, to clarify what needs to be clarified, release what needs to be released, heal what needs to be healed, and resolve what needs to be resolved in a way in which you are really pleased. It finds the positive learning and releases any upset, limiting belief, or judgment, and lets go of any reason or need to have that problem. It knows that it's important for you to experience blank instead, and is doing whatever needs to be done so that your new experience is blank. That's right, it reviews everything to do with that problem of, starting with the root cause and all contributing causes to do whatever needs to be done in a way in which you're really pleased, so your new experience is. And even as I speak, your unconscious mind is reviewing everything to do with that problem, etc. So that was the pattern I was doing with all of my hypnosis clients for anywhere from 29 to 29 years. I was based in New Jersey, training a lot of people in hypnosis, training a lot of people through this hypnotic languaging and teaching it at many hypnosis conventions, in fact, most of them around the country. Along comes a woman by the name of Sandy Radomski and Tom Atflecker, who have a wording that is very similar to start out with. She says there's a part of me that knows instead of a part of you that knows. And that part is, let me see, I'll find it later, but but the problem with her wording, and I applaud her for getting people to think about it, but it doesn't go far enough. The part that doesn't go far enough is that although it says there's a part of me that knows, it doesn't say that, and that part is doing something about it. It's sort of like going to a psychiatrist or a psychologist where you find out precisely why you're screwed up, but you're still screwed up because nothing has changed. So it's important to say not only there's a part of me that knows, but what that part is doing with that information. Is it clearing it, healing it, resolving it, transmuting it? What is it doing with it? So I'm going to, I put in, that's why I have, there's a part of me that knows blank, and that part is. Now you can go on many, many sentences to cover all the parameters of that program, and we'll get into it later. The second part of the infinite intelligence process I call process. Now, I came across something, Larry Nims from Be Set Free, and it reminded me of the dowsing and hypnosis programs we have done for decades that were connected to trigger words. So, for example, if I'm going to hypnotize someone, I'm going to give them a reinduction signal so that they quickly can go into self-hypnosis. And that is simply the word sleep and also a finger gesture. So that re-triggers them into the hypnotic state. We save a lot of time, but it also allows them to go into the hypnotic state very quickly and easily on their own. Now, you can have trigger words and to accompany any kind of program, whether it's stop smoking or weight loss or stress management or being calm and relaxed or confident, all kinds of programs. If you have ever studied with Don Taylor or taken his book is full of dowsing programs with trigger words. For example, he has a whole program on clearing entities, and the trigger words are simply clear entities, provide, and then you can have another one for protection, and it can simply be 2 words, provide protection, or download. It's totally up to you as to what trigger words you are going to tag on to a program. And you ask your unconscious mind with the pendulum as a readout device if that is accepted by your unconscious mind. Okay, so the wording on process is process and resolve everything to do with blank from the perspective of my high self. Do so in a way in which I can blank go. So there's 2 words, the trigger words that I use with the process program are process, go, and everything else is in between. So that is, and we will go through the words on that program soon. So I'll give you another example before we move on. From the perspective of my high self, process and resolve everything to do with the upset I experienced today with so-and-so in a way in which I can learn and move on wiser than before. Go. So, and finally, we go on to command and reset, where you can actually say, it's commanded that blank or from now on, my reality is. So for example, it's commanded to find the root cause and all contributing causes to that problem of blank in order to resolve it in a way in which I'm really pleased. Or find the root cause and all contributing causes to the problems of blank and resolve them in a way in which I'm really pleased. And then you can say, from now on, my new experience is. And finally, giving thanks is a good thing to do. So here's, you can put it all together, for example. Remove any blocks, known or unknown, to my goal of. Remove any need or reason to experience this problem. I now choose to experience blank instead in accordance with my highest good. I choose to believe I'm worthy and deserving of experiencing blank. I give myself permission to do so, and I'm grateful. Thank you. Here's another. I hereby command that any and all blocks, known and unknown, to my full healing now be permanently and completely removed. Any need or reason to experience any further problems with my joints, mobility, etc., are to be resolved and eliminated. I now choose to experience ease, comfort, and flexibility in all my movements. I can see it, feel it, know it to be true already in my consciousness, and I'm grateful. Thank you, it's done. So there's many, many ways you can put this together. All right, so moving on, I use this program several times a day. So for example, at the beginning of the day, I usually say something like this. There's a part of me that knows the best use of my time, energy, and resources. And that part is guiding me to make the wisest choices today so I can accomplish the most important things with grace and ease. Today, I choose to, and then I might state what it is I want. At the end of the day, whether I can even do this in bed, from the perspective of my high self, process all the events of the day and anything I read, heard, thought, or witnessed today, as well as any of the issues that came up. Find the positive learning, the blessing or wisdom to be gained, and let go of the rest so that I sleep peacefully through the night and wake up tomorrow refreshed and ready to go. Or I can say, process all the news that I read, heard, or discussed from the perspective of my high self. Eliminate all distortions of the truth and everything that is untrue, unlikely to happen, or unhelpful. Keep only what is true and helpful and put in the proper perspective so that I utilize my energies and resources productively and appropriately. Go. So here's another one. From the perspective of my high self, process all the fear and uncertainty about the future promoted by the media, various internet sites, friends or associates, so that I can have a good night's sleep. Go. Or really simply, process all of today's events, thoughts, emotions, and experiences from the perspective of my high self. Go. So now when I do this, I honestly can feel things shifting in my head. It's like running a very, very powerful computer, and it runs the program of sorting through things. And actually, that is precisely what interferes with sleep. So if you do not do it before you go to sleep, of sorting things out in your mind, you'll be doing this while you're sleeping, and that may in fact wake you up. So it's always a better idea to try to process things before you close your eyes. I have found this so helpful. And should I wake up in the middle of the night, I just say it again, of whatever is a concern to me. And I find it enormously helpful. So let's go back to two basic points here. When you say there's a part of me that knows, you are automatically tapping into higher wisdom to solve a problem. It doesn't matter if you have a great deal to do and you are just affirming that one way or another, you're going to accomplish what is important with ease and grace. And I love those words. And I'm thankful for Sandy Radomski to remind me of that phrase that others have also used, ease and grace. In fact, there was a firewalk instructor who trained one of my primary hypnosis mentor, George Bien. That firewalk instructor was named Polly Burkan, and he wrote a book called Let It Be Easy. So when you say there's a part of me that can accomplish this task with ease and grace, or it can even be easy, or it can be fun, that you're going to direct your unconscious mind to prove you right. And that's so helpful. Okay. So what are the premises that underlie this whole program? Well, one of which is you're a powerful spiritual being with great resources of intelligence, wisdom, and abilities that are already within you. Your intelligence, wisdom, and abilities go beyond the limits of your body, time, or space. Your inner being is forever linked to greater intelligence and resources, even to the ultimate consciousness. Your inner being, assisted by your subconscious mind, wants to assist you to solve problems and will set to work once it knows what you want and has clear directives. You have a right to ask for whatever you want to need, and it's yours to claim. So we don't beg, we don't plead, we affirm. The origin of the problem you want to solve is probably unknown to you, or at least a portion of it is going to be unknown to you. You can address the unconscious elements of a problem through intention and clear direction. That's exactly what we do with Dowsing. Healing always requires a willingness to change. All power is in the present, including the power to heal the past, present, and future. Energy that's bound up with upsetting emotions is not available for other purposes. It takes a lot of energy to heal, a lot of energy to run your business. So the more we start processing our upsets, our stressors, the more energy is then available. Emotions alert you as how you interpret what's going on around you. Whether you're interpreting it correctly or incorrectly, it alerts you that it means something to you. It refers back to your judgments about it. Upset can be transformed into a blessing if you choose to use it to take prompt action to heal the root cause of that upset. I have a frequently affirmation, I say, turn it into a blessing. I feel very strongly about taking every single experience and using it. And finally, any emotional reaction that seems to be excessive to the actual event always points to previous unhealed events. So you're not upset because it's the first time. You're only upset because of this thing that happened to you. Okay, somebody was trying to call me, but from California. So if you have any problems with the connection, then please just send me a text that I could see instead of trying to call. Okay, So now, I mentioned Sandy Radomski before. Here's what she says. There's a part of me that knows blank. Where is it? Sorry. There's a part of my being that knows blank, and that part of my being is willing to inform the rest of me now, is doing so with grace and ease. My mind, body, and spirit are receiving that information. Information transfer is now complete. That's why I said it doesn't say what it's doing, not healing or whatever. Okay, so how does this dowsing come into this? Well, I am holding a pendulum with everything I'm saying in part of the program to gauge when, how much energy is involved in clearing or putting a positive in, and when I'm done. And if there's anything else I need to add. So I'm calibrating all the way through my pacing and my effectiveness to do this. Now, we know that sometimes there are blocks to clearing. It doesn't matter what we want to clear, there can be blocks, because blocks or interference can cause failure. It can be coming from our beliefs or judgments, our perspective, our perception, our habits, karma, secondary gain, fear, negative mental and emotional energies, thought forms, social pressure, manipulation, dehydration, allergens, toxins, EMF, and other kind of energies, whether they're geopathic, man-made, or whatever. Now, so if you, through the dowsing, are not noticing the movement, then something is going on. So you might ask, is there a block? Or you could ask, there's a part of my being that knows blank, and that part is willing to help me now. Is that true? Well, there's always a part of you that knows, but does it want to help you because they're of some reason? So you can use this program, and I have different ways to go through the blocks. I'm not going to cover that here, but that is all part of the program. Now, so here are some more basic setup phrase for using the section called connect. There's a part of me that knows everything about blank and what to do about it to be more efficient, profitable, and successful, or be at peace, or heal completely, or be able to move on with my life to something better, to use this experience as a positive growth experience. And then you add with, and that part is doing whatever needs to be done to bring this about now. Or you could say, and that part is doing whatever needs to be done to heal, resolve, clarify, release, etc., now in the best possible way. So there's infinite numbers of ways you can word this. There's a part of me that knows that I am worthy of, it doesn't matter what you say, love, prosperity, a good job, a promotion. There's a part of me that knows that I'm deeply loved and worthy of love. There's a part of me that knows it's possible for me to be healthy, happy, prosperous, etc., despite any challenges I've had. There's a part of me that knows what I need to do to and how to best proceed regarding this to grow into the best person, athlete, spouse, parent I want to be. So this may give you some ideas, and I'm gonna, when we open it up for questions or comments, you can say, okay, Give me an idea how you would use it for whatever, and we can word it together. All right. So it always starts, there's a part of me that knows, and you finish the sentence, and then you add, and that part is. So what do you want? And when you're done with that, and with the dowsing, and it indicates that it's done, you go on to the next aspect of that same thing until you have covered all the aspects. And the moment you've done that, you have turned over the problem to your unconscious mind to solve for you. This is such an efficient way of working. And so I strongly urge you to do this. So, for example, let's say you had a certain fear. There's a part of me that knows the root cause of this fear I have regarding blank, and it's doing whatever it needs to do to resolve it in a most constructive way. There's a part of me knows that it is safe to blank, and that part is allowing me to relax in that knowing and letting it happen now. Okay. I'm going to just ask you now, just for a moment, go ahead and if you have a pendulum there, you can pick it up and hold it. If not, if you want to just close your eyes, you can do that as well. And have your feet flat on the floor and breathe energy up your feet and your legs. Pull that energy up through your body as you think of grounding. And pull more energy up through your legs, your feet, up through your body, over your head, and loop it back down to your feet. And do that a few times until you feel that energy coming up your legs to know that, yes, you're grounded. And then think of just a narrow laser beam running through your body and going out the top of your head as you think the word center. In other words, just allow all your mental chatter to narrow, to let it go, and just come into a narrow focus point. And out the top of your head, have the intention of connecting to the source of all that is, whether you call it your dowsing system, whether you call it your high self, whatever you call it, the wisdom and source of healing energy. And as you are holding the pendulum or just with your eyes closed, you can listen to me, and if it feels appropriate, you can repeat it in your mind. There's a part of my being that knows and remembers that at my core, I am essentially worthy of love, respect, prosperity, and every good thing that life has to offer. This essential worthiness is firmly imprinted into my unconscious to assist me to express that radiance ever more fully and to accept all the blessings of life. As such, I claim my right to summon the beneficial forces of heaven to support me in my life's path. And because that part of me remembers its true spiritual nature and core worthiness, it now dislodges any false beliefs about the self, any false beliefs about lack and limitation, any false beliefs about the true limits of what I can or can't do or accomplish. And as such, I harness my internal and spiritually linked energies to powerfully create with wisdom and joy a life that manifests true prosperity and blesses the lives of others. There's a part of my being that knows that I am a reflection of the all. And as such, I choose to allow that force to powerfully flow through me to create with wisdom, love, and joy. There is a part of my being that already knows the truth of who I am, what I am, and that I am a powerful spiritual being endowed with dignity, direction, and purpose. And that part that knows is infusing that knowing into every cell and fiber of my being, allowing me to powerfully manifest my highest potential now. There's a part of my being that already knows I create my own reality, and that part now chooses to proactively create abundance, health, and true prosperity for myself. Loving, mutually supportive relationships. A community that enhances the potential of its residents and creates a world I want to live in. And that part that knows and how to create it is infusing that knowledge now into every cell and fiber of my being and motivating me in taking consistent action to make it so. Here's another one. There's a part of me that knows how to go to a place outside of time and space, outside of body or things, to a place of pure healing energy. And it goes there now to experience joy, love, and wholeness, balance, and healing on every level and dimension of my being now. Okay, so this can go on and on. As I said, there's a whole book of wordings, and we're going to go on other things. Now, if any of you have heard me speak before, you may have heard me mention Ho'oponopono. You can adapt this process to many other modalities such as that. So, for example, there's a part of me that knows in what way I may have contributed to the situation of blank, and that part is helping me to both learn and move on to create more desirable outcomes in the future. My mind, body, and spirit are receiving that knowledge now in a way that is forever ingrained as part of my wisdom. There's a part of me that knows in what way I may have attracted the situation of blank, and that part is helping me to heal and release that vibratory resonance now. My mind, body, and spirit are receiving that healing and resonance and is shifting to attract blank instead. Okay, so now you can also combine this with EFT, emotional freedom technique. So there's a part of me that knows that even though I have this, whatever, there is a part of me that knows how to heal it, and etc. So, and you can adapt it with Jean Slater, who wrote a wonderful little book called Hiring the Heavens on setting up spiritual committees. You can incorporate it into the law of attraction, the emotion code, and spirit releasement, just very, very practical. Okay, and then we go. What I'm going to do right now is to install the process program. And then we're going to open it up for questions. So wait a minute, I need to find that page, and we'll get going on it. So while I am looking for it, ask your pendulum if it's appropriate for you to install the process program I'm going to read. If it is, then you can douse along with me. And if you got to know, you can listen to it and create something that would be appropriate for you. Is it appropriate for you to install a Dowsing program called Process? I'm about to read. So here it goes. And what would be helpful is if you repeat it after me. So I'll pause between each one. Whenever I think or speak my cue word process, followed by the word go, my subconscious mind instantly reviews everything relevant to whatever I focus upon from the perspective of my own inner wisdom, what is called the high self. It locates and addresses the root cause and all contributing causes that created or sustained any targeted issue or problem. Whenever I think or speak my cue word process, followed by the word go, my subconscious mind, directed by my high self, processes all relevant, unresolved emotions and releases any upset. It finds the positive learning and saves it as part of my wisdom. It lets go of any limiting beliefs or judgments that contribute to or control that issue or problem. From now on, whenever I think or speak my cue word process, followed by the word go, my subconscious mind, directed by my high self, clarifies what needs to be clarified, heals what needs to be healed, and releases what needs to be released. It corrects any mistakes in understanding or judgment. Whenever I think or speak my cue word process, followed by the word go, my subconscious mind, directed by my high self, resolves any karma. It removes any secondary gain or other blocks to a satisfactory resolution. And as a result, I'm free to move forward in my life, freer, wiser, more experienced, and more capable than before. Each and every time I think or say the word process, followed by the word go, my subconscious mind, under the direction of my own high self, does all of the above instantly for any problem that I choose to address anytime, anywhere. It does whatever needs to be done in a way in which I'm really pleased, turning every experience into a positive growth experience. Now, I'd like you to ask, is this now accepted by my unconscious mind? And wait for the pendulum to stop. Okay, so this program is all written out, as I mentioned, it's the whole book. So why don't we try it? Okay, so still holding your pendulum. Process and resolve all negative evaluations of myself and all negative evaluations of myself by others that I have agreed with in terms of my self-confidence, aptitudes, skills, abilities, talents, characteristics, or personal traits. Go. Do so for all my existences. From the perspective of my high self, process and resolve any false or limiting beliefs about my true intrinsic value and worth. Go. From the perspective of my high self, process and resolve any false or limiting beliefs about my ability to make a positive contribution to the world. Go. Process any false or limiting beliefs about my ability to make a positive contribution and support myself regardless of my race, religion, gender, age, location, physical characteristics, or personal traits. Go. Process and resolve any belief, perception, or judgment that I'm not worthy or unlovable, not good enough in any way. Do so for all my existences. Go. From the perspective of my high self, process and resolve everything interfering with me knowing or remembering consciously what my personal mission is and how I can best fulfill it. Go. From the perspective of my high self, process and resolve any fears, traumas, or internal barriers that are interfering with me being able to fulfill my personal mission. Go. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to open it up to questions. And in order to speak, all you have to do is hit *6. So who has a question or a comment? Was this helpful, not helpful? You have questions how you might adapt it or apply it in your own life? Hit *6 to speak. Go ahead.
Hi, this is Nancy. Yes, that was all very, very beneficial, and I followed with my finger kinesiology. I like that. Just pulling through is a no, and when it tightens up, it's a yes. So I followed you along, and that was, I loved the process. And then towards the end, when you said negative and positive contribution, I'm taking an empath class now, first one that's ever really been offered. And we're having them, like the empaths are the kind-hearted, patient, compassionate people, like let's say on the right, and on the left are the non-compassionate, not kind people. So it's a new kind of divine label in a sense, rather than positive and negative, because from like the person who killed Kennedy or Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King, in their perspective, they felt they were making a, quote, positive contribution. And that's not true. That's sort of like a judgment. And I'm wondering if we can shift that negative, positive, old paradigm wording and languaging to kind, not kind, empathic, not empathic. Because when you say kind, killing somebody is not kind. Hitler felt he was doing a positive contribution from his perspective, not from the people who died at his hands.
Yeah, well, I have no problem with you taking what I've been talking about for the past hour and adapting it in a way that works for you. So,
okay.
Since the wording, you have a particular sensitivity to certain wordings, simply change it to a way that works for you. And then you have to.
But that's not the highest truth anymore. A positive and negative. Do you know what I mean? That's like a judgment word. I think we need to rise above that wording. That's old paradigm.
Well, fine. Go ahead and change it to a wording that works for you, and then notice the results. So everything finally, it will be in what kind of results do you get? Are you creating greater peace and less stress within you? Is it doing something helpful in your life? And so go ahead and do that. So who else has a question or a comment?
Higher truth?
I didn't get that.
Aren't we into a higher truth? It's not about my way and your way. It's about a higher truth way, isn't it?
We're all interpreting that individually for ourselves. I think it's perhaps impossible to have absolute understanding of this. So that's why I would suggest, from your understanding, to word it in a way that works for you. So who else has a comment or a question? Does anyone have a question on what we were doing? Does anyone have a question? Now, I know this might have seemed like the full program, as I said, is in a book, and it's available on my website, which is roxannelouise.com. You go to stores and you can find it. Accessing More, Tapping into the Eternal Unlimited Self with the Infinite Intelligence Process. You
Roxanne,
with some of the ideas of the wording, maybe go ahead. Yes.
I just wanted to share with people because I had my pendulum out, and one, it was very fascinating feeling how it would change direction. However, what also transpired, I started crying.
At what point?
For no reason. I really can't tell you in what process where we were, but I started crying. I had this, like a bronchial cough coming up in me, which I'm healthy. But
okay,
this was
yeah, it would be interesting to know where that was, because the crying, well, again, how do we interpret the crying? If I was saying that you were releasing any limitations of understanding that you're a powerful spiritual being, that would be interesting if you cried at that point. Or if you cried
it just started, and it was like, it was just there. And, could it be also, when you were doing the install, would it also be tears of joy from having the release too?
It could very well be. So why don't you notice how you feel afterwards? If you feel a lightening or a clearing of something that needed to clear, that's important.
Definitely, because the congestion is gone. Like I said, all of a sudden I had congestion and like a bronchial cough, and now it's completely gone. And I'm healthy. I've had no symptoms of anything. So I just wanted to share that with people, how it impacted me, how you read it.
Okay, so you felt it was positive then? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, for all of that to for all of that to have happened, tears are releasing, whether
Okay.
they're for pain, sorrow, joy. That's a form of release emotionally.
Absolutely. Well, good. All right. Anybody else have a
So,
comment or question? Does anyone else have a comment or question? Go ahead.
I do. Hi. I have a question about this. Okay, I don't know about other people. Do you ever douse out the end result before you get to the end? Like, you want to know what the end result is supposed to be about the question because of the problem or situation you're having? But the question, what I'm asking, like, let's say that it comes out that it's in your favor, all right? But to get to your favor, how like, okay, I got stuck, and every day I going, I need my highest form of intelligent thinking. That's why I kept saying it every day because I didn't know which way to go anymore. But the pendulum kept saying it's coming out to a positive aspect. So how do you get to your highest form to get the answer for the dowsing so you get the right person? 'Cause I was looking at it like water holes. Like, you know there's water on the land. You douse it out. You know it's going to get maybe 200 gallons or whatever. But the question is, maybe I missed it by 4 holes before I found the correct hole.
All right. So you can use it for water as well. There's a part of me that knows the location where to drill for the most effective beneficial flow for my client. But
But now we're going to do it with people.
yeah, what this is doing and not getting specific information. I forget your name, but I know your voice so well.
Yeah, I know
you
you
again?
too. Okay. Carlotta.
All right. This program is turning over to the wisdom within your high self or your soul for the best solution.
Correct.
Okay? So there's no definitive definition of what that best solution will be. You are just turning it over.
So basically, it's kind of like a guide or paying really close attention to say maybe you should go this way and try it and see what happens.
Okay, so you're setting the intention of what you want really clear.
Correct.
You're turning it over to your high self to resolve it in a way with grace and ease or the best possible solution, the highest good. And then a lot of stuff will start to happen. Serendipity will occur.
Okay. Okay.
And you'll be guided on things that are helpful. Now, if you have to take action, then you'll have to take action. It's not,
okay.
But
it's not cut and dry.
Yes, it gets you moving in the right direction with the help you need to make things work. Okay?
All right. Yeah, no, that was a very clear answer you gave. Now, I have one other question real fast. I wanted to ask you this before the meeting, but I came back late. You ever heard of remote technical dowsing?
Yeah.
All right. Is that the same as remote water dowsing?
I don't have a clue. Remote water dowsing, you can work over a map, for example, but that's outside of the parameters of tonight's discussion. All right, let's stick to the topic
Thank you very
tonight.
much,
Who else
Roxanne.
has a question? You're welcome, Carlotta. All right, who has a question or comment? Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a comment. When you said there's a part of me that is essentially worthy of love, respect, reverence, I'm wondering why you didn't leave out the essential or why you put it in and just say there is a part of me that is worthy of love, respect, reverence. What does essentially do for that statement?
Oh gosh. Okay, I think you're picking hairs. You are going
it's what you said.
Yes, but I'm saying there are infinite numbers of ways you can word this. There's not just a few sentences. I have an entire book. If I look at this book, let me see. It's 112 pages of ways you can say these things. So you say you are going to be the one who are going to formulate the wording that is right for you. You, not me. And so if you don't want the word essentially, you don't have to have it there.
Well, I was just wondering why you put it in there to begin with. What does that do for that sentence?
Well, it does something for me, so I have it in.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Who has a question or comment? Anyone else? How can I help? Who has a question or comment? Hit *6 to speak. Okay, so let's say, for example, tonight you're going to go home. I don't know if you're East Coast or West Coast or wherever you are. Before you go to sleep, you can say, process everything that happened to me today, and in a way that I can sleep peacefully through the night. Or process everything I saw on the news tonight to delete everything untrue, everything that is delete all worries about things that are never going to happen, about things that will probably never happen, and about things that I don't have to do anything about. Go. So that's one way you can very quickly sort through things so you can sleep easily. And in the morning, as I mentioned, there's a part of me that knows the best use of my time and energy today and is guiding me now. When I have 1,000 things to do, I say there's a part of me that knows how I can get what's really important done easily within the time I have. So these kind of wordings of both helping to pull in, clearly stating how you want to use that wisdom within to help you make your life easier. And if you have any kind of stressors, that you're going to resolve it, use the process program. So personally, it's helped me enormously, but you have to try it out to find out if it will help you. If you want to go further with this, as I said, I do have a book. You can look it up on my website, roxannelouise.com. If you have questions, you can write to me at roxanne@roxannelouise.com. And my home number at my home office is 434-263-4337. And you can ask me questions or you can email me with questions. So I'm happy to help you if I can. Who else has a question or comment before we close? Who else has a question or comment? Was this helpful? Any questions or comments? Hit *6 to speak if you do.
Hi, this is Teresa, and I just did want to thank you for the processes and for doing this for us this evening. I really appreciate the information.
Thank you. Do you have any questions as well?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm processing.
Does anyone have a question on how to adapt it to a particular issue? Hit *6 to speak. Any questions? Wow, you're also silent. Well, again, I'm going to mention that on the second and third Tuesday of every month, we have a teleconference. On the third Monday of every month, we have the water dowsing teleconference. We do have a monthly newsletter that I've been writing that gives you the announcements. And if you go to the American Society of Dowsers discussion page, you can see what's going to be up on the speakers. You can also go to our website, dowsers.org, and find out about our convention. about chapter meetings that go on around the country and other, as well as our events. So please make a point of doing that. I hope you join the American Society of Dowsers. It's well worth the small amount of money it costs. We are going digital with our digest, but that can be a real plus because I am told that our digest committee is really super excited. So now there's a superlative. So really, really super excited about all the things that they can do with this. We can put in, embed lots of pictures and maybe some audio or video things in as we go along. It should be really exciting, and that we're still going to try to keep out our frequent delivery of that digest. So is there any last questions or comments before we close? Hit star 6 if you would like to speak. Well, I'm going to thank you all then, if there's no other questions, and say good night. Thank you for being on the call. And if you think of a question later, you can always email me at roxanne@roxannelouise.com. Thank you for being on the call. I look forward to seeing you next month. Oh, I should mention, on the second Tuesday of March, Cynthia Brush is going to be our speaker. And on the third Tuesday of the month, Raymond Grace is coming on to answer all kinds of questions that I have for him. So I thank you again. I look forward to having you on the call next month. All right.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.